Good afternoon, my amazing listeners. This is Roshika Ali here once again, and this time I'm here to present a review of a TED Talk titled The Surprising Science of Happiness by psychologist Gilbert, who is the author of a book, Stumbling on Happiness. He challenges the common belief that we will be unhappy if we do not achieve our desires. He introduces the concept of a psychological immune system, which is an inherent mental mechanism that enables us to find genuine happiness even when life doesn't go as planned. Gilbert presents research demonstrating that our brains often misjudge what will make us happy, leading to the realization that both achieving our goals and adapting to unfulfilled desires can result in comparable levels of happiness. Now, let's delve deeper into this TED Talk, and I will attempt to break it down for, for all my amazing listeners. What Dal Gilbert tells us is that over 2 million years of evolution, the human brain has tripled in size, and now our brain is 3 pounds heavy, and that is due to the presence of the prefrontal cortex, which is in fact an experience simulator. This means that human beings are in a unique position of actually experiencing something before 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 the event actually occurs. So we do not need to actually make and taste a liver and onion ice cream, but we know beforehand that it will probably taste horrible. This ability of the human beings to simulate experiences without actually performing an action is as momentous as us developing language and uh, having opposable thumbs. Uh, Now, what we need to know that sometimes our simulators really do not work, and to see how sometimes these simulators could be defective, we need to rely on data. Uh, if someone won a lottery, let's say 314 million pounds, and another one became a paraplegic, unfortunately, in an accident, they will both be equally happy after the space of 1 year. Now, this research might seem contentious. It might seem, unbelievable at first, but the psychologists have called it the impact bias. Our simulator works badly when we equate, you know, winning something what we want with actual happiness, and we sometimes do not realize that we tend to synthesize happiness. Whether we win or we lose, whether we pass or we fail, both of these have far less impact on our duration of happiness uh, than was previously believed. Recent studies show that major life traumas and major life gains even out in a space of 3 months. And both the person who has gone through trauma and the person who has achieved tremendous success seem to be on an equal state of happiness after a period of more or less 3 months. Uh, he quotes the philosopher Sir Thomas Browne in saying, uh, uh, in he quotes Sir Thomas Browne uh, when he says in a treatise that he is the happiest man alive. What he wants us to understand is, what Dan Gilbert wants us to understand is, that we all have a psychological immune system. We will change our views of the world to make us feel better. And when we make us ourselves feel better, we naturally become happy. He gives the examples of three people: Jim Wright, who was the chairman of the House of Representatives, who lost everything when Newt Gingrich exposed a shady book deal. But when he was asked about his experiences, he said, and that, mind you, that he was asked after a certain span of time, he said that he is mentally and physically in a better place than he ever was before. Another example is that of Maurice Brickman, who was imprisoned unfairly, and he was exonerated at the age of 78 when he was able to leave the Louisiana State Penitentiary. And he only had to say that it was a glorious experience. Yet another example is that of Harriet Langerman in 1949, who was thwarted out of getting a major McDonald's franchise and becoming the richest man in America because his brother, who was an investment banker, refused to loan him $3,000 because he said that no one eats hamburgers. Imagine his surprise when Ray Kroc later on had the same idea, and he, of course, got the McDonald's franchise and became the richest man in USA for some time. Another example is Pete Best, who was the original drummer for the Beatles, but he was uh, replaced by Ringo Starr. Now, all these people who lost major opportunities, who lost everything, who were thwarted out of millions of dollars, and another person who was, who was unjustly imprisoned for a long time in his life, and yet another person who who lost his chance of becoming a Beatles drummer. All these people only had things, uh, only had positive things to say. They said that they were happier in their lives than they ever could have been. We might tend to disbelieve them, and we might tend to think that, oh, grapes are sour, and you know, you only pretend to be happy because you could not get what you wanted. But synthesizing happiness is more of a innate phenomena than we would otherwise think. Uh, Natural happiness, as I mentioned earlier, people consider uh, it to occur when we get what we want. And synthetic happiness is what we choose to feel regardless of whether we achieve our goals or not. Now, this equation, this identification of achieving your dreams and being naturally happy, this paradigm has been put forward by the marketing machinery of the world. Imagine what kind of economic activity would take place if everyone was happy with whatever they had and they were not pursuing anything else, not pursuing the accumulation of possessions to make themselves feel better. Now, this free choice paradigm is another way in which uh, we find that synthetic happiness is the way to go and it is the natural state of being of a person. In this paradigm, six objects were given to people to rank, and then they were told that they could have objects three or four to take home. Normally, everyone liked object number three. Now, in one case, they were given a choice of returning the object and exchanging it for number four. And in another group, they were not given a choice at all. When, uh, you know, the results came in of this experiment, it was shocking to find out that people, both these groups of people were equally happy. The ones who got the choice, they were happy, and the ones who did not get the choice, even they were happy because they felt that the print that I've gotten is better than the one that I could have gotten. Synthetic happiness is also uh, seen in patients with anterograde psychosis and Korsakoff syndrome, where they have very poor short term memory. They were given the same Monet prints, but this time, obviously, they forgot which print they chose. But even in this group of people, the scientists found that people tended to be happier with what they had rather than, you know, yearn after what they didn't get. So we find that synthetic happiness is more natural to us than anything else. It's just that some people synthesize happiness better. Now, Dan Gilbert tells us that choice can be the friend of natural happiness, but it can be the enemy of synthetic happiness. People tend to find a way to be happy with what they own and what they have. Another study in Harvard proves exactly that. When students were given a choice of photos which they took and which they took from all over campus, and they, selected two which they would enlarge and keep, and they were told at the end that they could only keep one. One group of students were told that they could exchange the photo if they wanted, and another group was told that no, they could not, they had to choose only one. Both these groups ended up being equally happy. What we need to know is that sometimes having no choice is the best thing for one. Adam Smith, the father of capitalism, said that the source of misery and happiness lay in us overrating one situation more than others. Sometimes we are better off when our ambition is bound. It is better for us sometimes to not, you know, get too much freedom and too much choice and get too sucked in on whether we are actually happy or not. Each and every one of us has the ability to make our own happiness. Uh, I hope my review was clear to everyone. Thank you very much for listening to me. This is Roshika Ali signing off. Thank you.